It seems like the whole world has it in for Frank Castle. Can he finally assassinate the supreme commander of the secret empire before it's all too late? Well, let's hop into The Punisher issue number 228 and find out. Alrighty then, so picking up directly from where the last issue left off, the Punisher was staring down Iron Man. Tony is understandably pretty pissed off about everything Frank has been doing with his technology, as well as, you know, dragging the good name of Rhodey through the mud because of Frank's own personal vendetta against crime and corruption. Frank starts a fight because of course he does, but in doing so he also attempts to turn the tables on Iron Man by saying what kind of heroes would go out of their way to actively defend such Hydra scum. With Iron Man trapped in a burning tunnel, the Punisher is finally free to give chase to Zemo and the others who are escaping via helicopter. Man, you gotta wonder how many helicopters does Hydra and every other Marvel terrorist organization go through? The heroes destroy them like they're nothing all the time. That's gotta add up. Now, Zemo knows in a fair fight, even in an unfair fight, he probably can't take the Punisher. That's why he and the Ghost get creative. Ghost phase shifts inside Zemo, basically meaning that Frank can't hit him no matter how hard he tries. All the while, Zemo harangues Punisher about his choices, how he willingly served Hydra before, and how at the end of the day he perhaps only now sees what the Supreme Commander, Evil Steve Rogers, saw in him. It was his determination that put him above any other rank-and-file psychopath who goes off to join Hydra. This very same determination means that Frank is totally okay sacrificing his own body if it means he'll hurt the bad guys too. He almost lethally shocks himself to try and get Ghost to phase back to reality, only to have Iron Man swoop on in and save the bad guys. This once again leads to a massive fight between the Punisher and Iron Man, where Frank does get the upper hand, and he would have pulled the trigger on Iron Man too, if Tony was not saved at the last second by the appearance of the Chimera assault vehicle, which you'll remember if you read the last issue of Dan Slott's Iron Man, so big ups for continuity. The Chimera is of course piloted by the newly resurrected James Rhodes, who is pretty ticked off at the Punisher for stealing his armor, even though if you read the Dan Slott book, he's too afraid to pilot it himself. Rhodey doesn't want to throw fists at Frank, though he actually tries to talk to him for a change, saying that the Punisher is a great many things, not all of them good, but at the end of the day, he's not a thief, and he thinks that if he asks nicely, he'll give the armor back. Frank concedes, but not before Rhodey eventually twists the knife in a little deeper, saying that perhaps the big difference between what the two do is that at the end of the day, a hero, not a vigilante, is someone willing to show restraint. Just because you can put on a robot suit and try and kill all of the criminal underworld doesn't necessarily mean you should. It's also heavily implied that Rhodey knows that it was actually Nick Fury who put the Punisher up to this, and that a lot of this manhunt was just Fury trying to cover his own ass. Evil Steve also gets a couple jabs in on the Punisher before he's eventually taken away. He says that any man who shows such ferocity will always have a seat at the Hydra table, and that he and Zemo, who managed to escape, have such horrible things planned for the future. The cops grab Punisher, and Fury is ready to throw him in a deep dark cell and throw away the key, but luckily it's good to have some friends on the outside because Frank gets sprung by Winter Soldier and Black Widow as the comic comes to a close. So that was The Punisher 228, everybody, and overall I thought it was a very fitting conclusion to this era in Frank's history as the War Machine. Matthew Rosenberg took what on paper could have been a really silly concept in the hands of any other writer, and he actually made it work. Moreover than that, he managed to tell a hell of a redemption story for Frank, while also being sure to reiterate right here at the very end that Frank really doesn't belong anywhere. He doesn't belong with the superheroes, he doesn't belong with Hydra, he's just kind of doing his own thing, and he's the best at doing his own thing. We'll be getting another new #1 from Rosenberg soon that will see the Punisher go further back to basics, and I personally can't wait for that. It's been a hell of a ride so far. I would give this issue an 8 out of 10, would highly recommend it if you've been trade waiting. Hey there everyone, it's Cape Joel again. I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, why not check out some of these other videos I've been hard at work on. And hey, while you're at it, you can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook at Cape Joel, so you're always up to speed on what I've got coming out next. And if you really like what I did, are feeling in a supportive mood, please check out my Patreon link down in the description. Patrons get exclusive access to videos and content before anyone else, and you can do so for as little as $1 a month. So, until next time everyone, this has been Cape Joel, and I will be back again with more great comic videos that smack of greatness. Bye-bye.